my name is Izzy. I'm a sporadic YouTuber. Today we're going to be doing my October wrap-up. I read 14 books this month. How freaking cool is that? It doesn't even fit. It doesn't even fit on my shelf. Like I can't fit the last one in. It's that big. The first thing that we need to talk about is the fact that I have finished Anna Karenina. I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't care for it, but I was glad to be done with it. That's like 800 some pages. Done. Gone. Boom. The next book that I read was The Dark Tower by Stephen King, the Gunslinger, the first book in the Dark Tower series. Didn't care for this one either, really. I've heard that this one is bad and that it does get a lot better as the series goes on. So I'm gonna continue with the series because I've been proved wrong before. The next book that I read was The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I absolutely loved this. Definitely recommend this one if you're looking for a really creepy dystopian read. The next book was actually a reread. I reread Play Dead by Anne Fraser. Fell in love all over again. I really, I'm always boasting about Anne Fraser on my channel. I know. I boast about it a lot, but I really recommend you go pick up one of her books. The next book I read was NOLA, which is a graphic novel. It was just okay. I think I gave it like 3 stars. I love NOLA, the character. I think NOLA, the character, is a really good character, but I felt like there was a lot of things in this book that was like resolved too quickly that could have been saved, and then there were things that were never resolved and never brought back to. The next book I read was Real Time by Pina Moed Cass. It was told from the perspective of a whole bunch of different people, and it takes place over about a couple days. It's actually told in like a timeline instead of chapters. And what happens is there's like a terrorist attack in here, and it's just told from all different kinds of perspectives. It's nuts. The next one is In a Dark Wood by Ruth Ward. Overall, I thought it was a really good like thriller mystery, and I think this is her debut. I think it's her debut. I'm not 100% sure. But if it's her debut, I see her going very good places. I would definitely read something else by Ruth Ward. I don't think this is going to be one of those like memorable thrillers for me, and I've heard a lot of people like reviewing this and having the same kind of feelings, and I think that's how it is with me too. I don't think I'm going to remember this in the future, and I think that's like a problem. But overall, I did like it. I thought it was good. The next book that I read was Dorothy Must Die by Daniel Page. Loved this. This was like a retelling of Wizard of Oz, kind of. Well, kind of. It's set in the world where Dorothy came back because life wasn't working out back home. She wasn't memorable back home. So she came back to Oz and she ended up taking over. So then this other girl from Kansas comes to Oz accidentally by tornado, and she's got to kill Dorothy. The next book I read was Summer of Fear by Lois Duncan. It was about a girl whose cousin's whole family dies, and except for the cousin, and her cousin ends up coming to live with them because of it, and some weird stuff happens, and her cousin's acting weird, and everyone is acting like she's a perfect angel and treating the main character like she's nothing. And I thought that there was a lot of girl on girl pettiness, which sometimes in my books I get because I understand how girls work, but other times I feel like it's such a trope that's overdone, and I'm just so sick of it. So there was some of that I didn't care for, and that's probably why I didn't like this book as much as I liked Down a Dark Hall. Really liked Down a Dark Hall. The next book I read was Anyas Ghost by Vera Brodskol. This is a graphic novel. It is about a girl who falls down a hole and meets a ghost, and they become friends, and some crazy stuff happens. I absolutely loved this. I thought this was perfect. It was just a little dark, which I like. It was a nice quick graphic novel. It picked me up out of I was starting to go a little slumpy, so it picked me up. Bane is doing something over there, so God knows. But yeah, I really liked this one a lot. This was really good. The next book I read was the 7th book in the zombie series. As everyone knows, these aren't my favorite series, but for some reason I'm like devoted now. I have to finish them, and they do keep getting better as they go on. This one was alright. I think I gave it 3 stars. I think it was just okay. There have been other ones by him that I've liked more. The next 2 books I read was the first and the second book in the Deanna something series. I forget what these are called. But that is The Girl in 6E and Do Not Disturb by A.R. Tor. I absolutely freaking loved both of these books so much. I think the second book fell a little short for me, but that's not even, like, that's if I'm really being picky. I really loved both of these. So these are about a girl who locks herself in an apartment because she has murderous tendencies, and she's locking herself in the apartment for her own, for everyone else's safety, so that she doesn't murder them because she has murderous tendencies. But I will warn everyone who reads these are not for children. Whew, not because of the violence, because of the sexual stuff that's in here. So these are thrillers, but she writes erotica normally, and she brings some of that erotica elements into these books. Because the main character is locked in the apartment, her job is to be a cam girl for a porn website. So you can imagine what's in these books. Whew! There were parts where I was blushing, and I ain't no innocent, I ain't no angel, and I was blushing, and I'm like, oh Lord. But I really, really recommend these. If you can handle the sexiness of it, I really recommend them. They are really great thrillers. I loved them. There is one more book in the series that I do not own that I need to get, and I need it. I need it because these were fantastic. The last thing that I read was the second graphic novel in the Saga series. If you don't know what these are, you've been living under a rock, but I'm just kidding. If you don't know what these are, they are like Star Wars meets Romeo and Juliet. They are fan-freaking-tastic. They are a little bit vulgar, which, again, I like. They are dark, which I like. They have a little bit of romance, which is enough that it's not, like, overdone. It's like a real romance. Yeah, I really recommend these graphic novels. They are not overhyped. They are hyped for a reason because they are just that fucking good. Fantastic. Really recommend it. I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. I might even love the second book more than I loved the first one. So that is my wrap up for October. I read so many books. I hope November is just as good and I can really like knock out my Goodreads goal. I think I'm like, my Goodreads goal was 55 and I think I'm at 75, I think, or 74. I don't know. I know I'm kicking ass and taking names. Peace, I'm out. Goodbye. I love you guys. Bye.